What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Lokhir Fellheart Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, another couple of great battles, whatever. Lokhir Fellheart did his quest battle to acquire the Helm of the Kraken, giving him regeneration, though admittedly losing a bunch of other traits because of the loss of the Armor of Destiny, or whichever he was using. Otherwise, we had a very nice battle against the Wood Elves of Pina Wood, and those guys are out of the picture now, and we are moving towards the Lizardmen of the Cult of Sotek, while, for now at least, ignoring the Skaven. I still haven't made a complete decision on them. Otherwise, our Black Arcs are certainly starting to, get underway. Several more have reached rank 10, and that means their army types have been decided, so we are getting ready to send them off as soon as they have their troops recruited. Now, in terms of what we got to do this particular turn, I don't remember. I can see that Admiral MOKSHA can move still, and I guess we could send him down here to Alquazaro. The minor issue is that I did want him to recruit some stuff, i.e. Dark Riders. Oh, I guess it would have to be somebody else. Huh. I mean, we could keep him here and recruit the Dark Riders from him. Technically speaking, we're putting cold ones in this army, but we could use Dark Riders for now, like regular Dark Riders, and then eventually, I actually don't know whether they can be trained up, but it doesn't really matter. We can always replace them. They're fairly expensive, though. Nonetheless, yeah, you know what? We will ferry them over with the other unit. I guess we could stay here for the one turn. I would like to grab Alquazaro even if the Bordello Errant take it, though. That would be really nice. You know, I will just risk it for a one turn. So you grab real quick, let's say 4 shielded Dark Riders for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay, that was pretty much all our money, so I can't really do anything else. Oh well. Alrighty, that's a pile of Dark Riders, and I believe now that's everything else, so we're ready to skip, and end the turn, and proceed to wherever it is we need to proceed to. Go. Alright, let's see what we have here. Ooh, Satchel of Potions. 3x of the... 3 loyalty, eh? I feel like it's worth it. Hopefully he doesn't rebel, but that's 3 uses of Potion of Toughness. That's really strong, so yes, he is mine. An Asur Mage has been captured in a recent raid. Your lord desperately wants to make them their personal slave. However, this mage has a gift for prophecy, so it might be beneficial to claim him as your own. Yeah, alrighty. Nemesis Crown lost for whoever, and we are good. Alright, now, let's get a move on. So, Mr. Lokhir, you will proceed to Laqueno. We will be ignoring the territories here. Fortunately, the Beastmen didn't manage to chaos them up too much, so we won't suffer attrition as we move. You've moved away from Alquazaro, eh? Alright, I would like to go into full speed stance and move this way then. And then, do you have a Death Hag? You do not have a Death Hag. Well, you're about to. Let's pop the Death Hag into this particular army right now. Like so. And then, wait, do you have, what is this? Okay, that's a Black Arc Reaver. And do we have any more Death Hags available? I clicked on the wrong one. Kane's Fury, Vicious and Cruel, and Madness Bringer. Okay, not the ones I wanted, but that's alright. Iliarch, you're supposed to go into this army, as well as the admittedly expensive, but what are you gonna do? I'm gonna probably pop the Sisters of the Singing Doom in here. Though, on the other hand, maybe we should save these for a sort of Harganeth-style army, like an actual land Harganeth-style army. Though, on the other hand, well, the Blades of the Blood Queen will go to once we confederate Harganeth, so maybe we'll put the Sisters of the Singing Doom in this army then. Alright, fair enough. Let's then get rid of one of these guys. Black Arc Corsairs, one of the unnamed ones for obvious reasons. We'll do you and you, combine. And then we'll do you and you, combine. And then we'll do you and you, combine. And then we'll do you and you and you and you, combine, which we should lose 2. Beautiful. And then we'll pop you in. Increase mobility, and then we will get the Sisters of the Singing Doom in here. Unable to recruit in foreign territory. Oh, Whoops. Okay, well, too bad. I assumed that we would... it's a black arc, but whatever. I guess we need to just take a settlement somewhere or ferry them over, which we'll do. Alright, you're going to go into the Great Ocean where you will heal up, and then we'll go and sack Martel real quick. If I go here, this is also the Great Ocean, right? Yeah, I just want to make sure that we heal here. Man, no islands here, like, at all. It's kind of shocking how few there have been. Weird. Likelihood of this guy immediately attacking Alcozaro? Low, right? Because I figure Deathmaster Snitch, if we do this... 4.7, eh? Join war against the Viza. There we go. We could trade Alcozaro forward as long as we fight these guys, which we were going to go for anyway. Admittedly... Wait, what about Defensive Alliance? What did I move away? Wait, minus 5.6. Oh, I guess he doesn't want the defensive alliance. He just wants a non-aggression pact. Alright, fine, fair enough. I kind of wanted vision from him, but at the same time, once again, we need somebody to take the mountain territories for us, so whatever. We'll ally with him for now, and then if we need to betray him later, we'll just do so. We've already done it once. Free trade agreement after all. And there we go. And that's a free port. And oh, now he wants a defensive alliance. What the heck, Snitch? What are you doing? You know what? I'm going to hold off on the defensive alliance for now in case he actually takes Viza before that we can do it ourselves, since we obviously want it for ourselves. All right. That looks good to me. Camring, you have two things to do. First of all, I would like you to recruit 2 Medusae for yourself. Can barely afford it, unfortunately. And I believe I did recruit you to... Yes. You will grab a couple of the Reaper Bolt Throwers, like so. This gives you now 17 out of 20. Assuming... Well, actually, this army may not need a Death Hag as much as other armies would. This would give you the opportunity to go for 1 Crow of Cain, and then 2 Harpies as soon as we can build it from somewhere. And this way, at least, we're not wasting the Beastmaster, because then it'll have 3 Harpies and then 2 Medusae, all of which will benefit from the buffs, but then we'll have something to help anchor the line here. Oh, the only problem then is that I wanted the Bolt Fiends in here as well, which would put us at 18 out of 20, and 1 unit too many. I could take out the Black Arc Reaver, but I kind of don't want to. Oh, and if anything, we'd want a K-Knight Assassin in here more than that. We could lose one of the Black Arc Corsairs. Do we want the Bolt Fiends in here? You know, hold off on it for now. I will think about it. Might make some adjustments to it as we go, but I don't want to do them right now. What is this? You are a Sorceress of Dark. You're supposed to join this particular army, so you're going to move on over there while you guys continue to recruit. Now, we have... this army, which is supposed to be very nearly ready to go. The Dark Riders, or these Dark Riders, supposed to go to the other armies, so we'll have you... Okay, let's swap some units real quick. Has to be done. That has not changed, so you can have these for now. And then you can go into March Stance, or Full Speed Stance, grab from Admiral Balthanol the Dark Riders, and then move on over and get ready to transfer them to Admiral MOKSHA in place of the chariots or whatever Cold One units we're going to pop into his army. Admiral Karond Kar has actually a nearly full stack here. Alright, I'll think about that as well. Let me just give it a minute. Couladin, you're supposed to go into this army, please. Thank you, thank you. And then said army is, ooh, just slightly out of the way. Alright, we'll attack Asaph's Quay, but I guess next turn. Look at that, they're spamming New Altdorf retinue and Bretonnian units. Yeah, it does seem that this particular faction likes to do that, but, well, what can you do? You will get Dreadful Gaze, like so. Lovely. Alright, so you're sitting pretty for the turn. Scout, keep on scouting as one does, and Admiral Karond Kar. We have to figure out how many of these units are supposed to go into this army, which is probably at least some, go figure. Hero-wise, I think this army is good. We will still give you 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers, let's say maybe 4 units of Black Arc Corsairs with handbows so that they move forward, and 1 unit of Black Arc Corsairs with Twin Blades, which leaves room for 2 more Shades to go in here as soon as we're ready. Yeah. That looks good, right? We got 8 Black Ark Corsairs, 6 Shades, a couple of Reaper Bolt Throwers to take down walls and towers as needed. Yeah, as soon as we build the 2 Shades, we'll be ready to go, and then these can be transferred to one of these other armies. Perfection. Are we able to recruit those Shades immediately or no? We can't afford 2. Can we maybe ally with somebody or get some money from somebody for this? Eshin wants that defensive alliance. Well, I guess that is something we could do. Again, I was saving it for potentially trading settlement away from them. Though on the other hand, what's the likelihood that they can take Viza? Pretty low. Grouse, on the other hand, maybe not so low. Anybody else want anything interesting? Peace, not so much. Eshin, I guess we should just... Oh, you know what? We could do the initiate diplomacy with you guys. Yeah, it's a decent bit of money. They are fighting the Legion of Asgore, but I guess we're going with the ogres and the Skaven in the Darklands. Alright, and then this should give us just enough money to get a couple more Shades, and then we'll go for the Bleeding Shades, which I believe is the Great Sword Shades, unless I'm mistaken, and then that army will be ready to go out. It's you, right? Great Swords, you have... Oh, actually, no, you have Stagger Shot. It's the Twin Blade Shades that have Bleed and considerably more missile range. Alright, fine, we'll go double up on the Twin Blades and then keep a couple of the Great Swords, so that... and we can send them out on the flanks. And there we go, the army is ready to go. We don't need a master in here, we have the Death Hag, we have the Sorceress of Shadows, solid looking stack. Alright, and there goes all of our cash. And we were so rich only a couple of episodes ago. Or actually last episode, but a couple of turns ago rather. Anyway, you're good. You are working towards being good, minus we need to get the tower that allows us to build the Harpies. You have to keep your Shades building. Yeah, we have to build it in one of the other armies, unfortunately. It is relatively easily buildable. Does anybody have any spare room? Exarian does not. You, Balthanol, would, but you don't, well, you don't have room for it. And we can't get rid of the Estates of the Masters because we need to build up the Gargantuan Black Ark, eh? Maybe we could just globally recruit the Harpies in a little bit. Oh, wait, we don't have access to global recruitment as Dark Elves. Well, darn. Huh. That's going to be an annoyance. And we could maybe build a tower out here, or, oh, wait. You. Lokhir, do you have room? No, you don't have room because of the 3 Corsair things. Alright, we'll just have to use one of the other Black Arks. Maybe we'll just sort of keep it near that particular Black Ark and then just build them once so they're ready. Alright, looks good to me. Let's go for the Demand Highborn Hostages here, and otherwise ignore everything. Yes. Skip, 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 and another turn. Ooh, wait, we got a right. Wins a magic power reserve plus 10 per turn. And you know what? I'm going to say let's activate this right now while the... Well, we should save this for when we have our first Tech Thieves up and running, shouldn't we? I'm just thinking our Black Arks lack mana because they seem to be unable to channel, so I was thinking we'd do this to give them their mana, but then this will be gone for 25 turns, and I'd like to get the Heroes stealing tech, so I guess we'll forego it for now. Alright, an unusual location. It's been a while, it feels. Let's see if we got anything actually useful to us. Unstable Chaos Portal. Each turn, there is a 20% chance a random region in this province will be raised. No thank you. It's gonna cost us 7,000 gold to destroy this. Okay, so we need money. When any region in this province is currently raised, income from all buildings plus 100%, wins a magic power reserve capacity plus 5, and all regions in this province, excluding this region, are raised. It's some decent stuff, but it's not worth it. Yeah, we're gonna have to burn that down. Alright, how are we gonna get that cash, though? That's an issue. Mr. Lokhir can't quite reach Sac-Lequeno this turn, so it can't be him. We have, Mr. Bohemond the Savior. Will you save us from bankruptcy? No, because he's not actually besieging the place. Although, is he stuck here? If you land in Alcazaro... No, we can't do anything about this. Alright, so you're just going to sit in Dread Expansion. We know that that guy can't attack. And we'll see what the heck. Huh, I was doing this last game too, last episode too. Weird. Okay, well, I'm just gonna ignore it. Alright, how much money can we get from sacking Martel? I think it was 2,000? Nah, not even. Alright, well, let's sack it anyway. And, oh, I didn't mean to click it until we were closer. Game, please. Why must you hurt me? Almost there, there we go. Alright. Alright, go sack Martel and then move to... Ooh, hello. We have some fighting in our future. And lovely.
Okay.
Yes, and oh, right. These guys are using units that are... Okay. Somebody please remind me I need to re-upload the mod that changes these guys' stats. The old world. I guess I didn't activate that mod. Alright, well. And those guys are unique to this in their stats. I mean, it only affects the Empire, but I'd still rather the Empire not be unnecessarily weak anyway. We'll auto-resolve this, take some damage, and then we'll have to heal, but whatever. Sack, please. Alright, nearly... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. We're 39 gold short of what we needed. Oh, screw you, game. There is... there's no way to get out of this to the Great Ocean, is there? No. Alright, so we won't heal that much, but we will still start moving toward Portsol. Like so. And pop it into Dread Expansion. Then we were going through loose. Reload plus 10 is not so bad. And trying to get towards the rank 7 buffs, since these guys have all reached their rank 7. And then we'll go for healing afterwards. Anyway, who else... Okay, you already moved. Admiral... Well, I guess we can't move you guys now because we were gonna recruit. We can't build the Black Ark stuff either. We can move you, though. And... the Sorceress can pop into Admiral MOKSHA'S army. There we go. And that gives him everything that he wants, minus the Reaver and the second, I guess, one of the Masters. We'll do Cold One Chariots in this army. Kind of amuses me to put chariots at sea.
Yes.
Alrighty, and I assume this guy can't go anywhere, at least I hope not. He might be stuck. Alrighty, well, you're gonna transfer that stuff, you're gonna take the Dark Shards and any spare units, and we'll turn those into chariots. Not Scourge Runner chariots, I think. Yeah, we'll do Cold One chariots. At least for this army. We'll do some Scourge Runners in another army. And probably several armies. They're pretty fun. Anyway, Scout, you. Keep going, sir. Keep identifying factions, some of which we may or may not want to trade with, or randomly declare war on to eventually then peace out with for money. Admiral Karond Kar, again, you can't do anything because you're waiting. Although all those troops will come in handy for transfer, we've got the Medusa coming in, and Admiral Caleth, you still need to move. This turn, yes, and you need to fight as well. Now, will you be capable of winning this?
Ever vigilant.
Asaph, do you have a defensive structure? You do not. Alright, we'll be fine. Alright, you are currently at war with agents. They're at war with Cathay? Oh, that's interesting. Huh, declare war. Yes. Alrighty, and you have no stances that you can use, so let's just sack Asaph's Quay, shall we? The flying thing, not gonna be useful here. I'm gonna put that in another army that's more likely to encounter flying foes. For now, though, let's go.
Show no mercy. Foes incoming.
Alrighty, here we go, though, with the sort of mix of Bretonnian units from the Lector Count troops, together with the Imperial units. It's definitely more of a mixed army than just a straight-up Imperial army under the Cult of Sigmar. But anyway, that may be a good thing. It's not like the Dark Elves would care about the distinction much at all, especially considering they see humans pretty much as animals, or possibly even lower than animals, so yeah. Anyway, and who's to say they're wrong? Here we go. We have the Twin Blades moving in at the center of the battle. Now, I love the desert maps. We're definitely going to have to park a Black Ark over the at the coast of the desert here, and actually several desert coasts, because these battles are always so bright and lovely to see. I still really think that you should have a battle toggle or a bar that you can adjust on how many night battles you get as compared to non-night battles, because I don't know, I feel like it's a bad idea to hide all of the glorious action and animations that you have in the game. So it's weird that the devs didn't think of that, because I don't know. Seeing this kind of thing, it's effectively free advertising for a game. Anyway, the mortars continue raining shells down upon us, unfortunately, but I'd wager the mortars are actually more of a threat to the enemy than they are to us, because we're much more heavily armored than they are. Certainly our units will stagger back, but they won't be dying nearly as quickly. Otherwise, speaking of dying quickly, though the bounce power remains at 50-50, we can see that none of our units are as yet routing, and though we've lost about 50% HP on a couple of units of twin blades, but otherwise about 20 to 30% on the rest. The enemy center is in extremely bad shape, and of course the bounce of power will reach critical mass and shift extremely quickly in our favor eventually, simply because once the enemy runs out of melee units, we can start closing the distance with their range, who will obviously, unlike our hybrid units, have absolutely no chance. Alright, big ol' sweeping sort of shots of the battle in the dunes here, but it looks like Asaph's Quay will be falling shortly. Besides, it should belong to Khalida. Honestly, if Khalida had more territory nearby, we'd probably take it and then trade it to her, but no, what can you do? Well, maybe if we do sufficient damage on occasion with our Black Arcs to these guys, or to the lizards that Khalida's fighting, we can sort of restore her territory. Anyway, looks like, some damage to this Black Arc Corsair unit, which came very close to routing, but it looks like the enemy army routed, and just before they did, and the battle is ours. Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, this is why I love fighting in the desert and in the tundra, or just in frozen territories as well. Such nice visuals. Alright, very nice, and that'll put us over to the 7,000 to burn down that unusual location. It seems like we've only been getting the negative unusual locations in this one, haven't we? Huh, I wonder if it's a function of the Dark Elves and that they get kind of screwed over with the unusual locations. I imagine that the Order Tide factions have, I mean, they seem to have an advantage with getting lots and lots of good ones. Less so for the Destruction and the Chaos factions, and I don't know about on Death, but anyway. Heroic victory and nice work for, 359 kills to 357, pretty darn solid. And we will sack. Oh, lovely. Enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle. You presumably also can't return to the Great Ocean, but you can keep on moving. I wonder if there's another port out here to sack shortly. Let's find out. Also keep an eye on islands. Well, again, been a while since we've gotten any islands. Weird. Huh. They're probably... there's one. There are probably a lot of them spawning somewhere out in the world, but we don't know where that is. Wait. You don't like our military actions against Cult of Sigmar? You're at war with them. Why would you not... okay, whatever. I don't care, but it's just so weird. And also, you don't like our treaties with Hag Grief? How do you even have any contact with Hag Grief? They're all the way out here. What are you doing? I have no idea. Wait. Yeah, they do have diplomatic contact. Weird. Alright, well, good for them, I guess. You will grab this island and keep on going. You've also got 2 points. Let's get you unstoppable, more weapon strength and attack, and Beast Binder again.
The Black Court.
I'm gonna maybe give you some Helldrake packs instead of the Hydras. I feel like for the Hydras, they should be led by Beastmaster, because Hydras have low melee defense, and you can get a bonus 8 melee defense to Hydras there. I think Charybdises have okay melee defense, though. And decent armor, so we could give you Charybdises, we could give you... several options in terms of what the Beastbinder is. Oh, actually... interestingly enough, wait, it's Harpies, Warhydra, Charybdis, Worm, Sea Dragon, and Black Dragon. It's a little bit of upkeep reduction, but otherwise it's a charge bonus, which probably not as useful for Hydras and Charybdises and stuff. Feral Manticores, that might be an interesting option. Although unfortunately the Lord wouldn't be a... that wouldn't be a Lord that could ride a Manticore. I'll think about it. Sea Drakes would also be... or Helldrakes, rather, would also be pretty good. Minus the fact that we can't get them the +8/+8 melee attack and defense that we would get by having a Beastmaster lead them, and just giving them a charge bonus isn't really all that much. I'll think about it. Either way, we can ignore this. We are nowhere near rank 7, so we'll start going through the blue line in order to get Quartermaster and Elven Healing, at least for now. And we'll switch it up as needed. You really need to get Flock of Doom, so we gotta move towards that, and then you can increase mobility. Perfect. Alright. Who is next? Who still needs to move? Oh, right, dude. Let's burn down that thing before one of our settlements is randomly raised. Where was it? Miros? Yes. 7,000 gold. Oh well. What can you do? We still have 6,000 remaining at least. Oh, didn't I want to recruit something wherein I was like, wait, we can't afford to recruit anymore. Oh, or was it building up these black arcs? Maybe that was the thing. So you have the Medusa coming in. Alright, I was doing that thing where I was thinking about the Bolt Fiends. I still kind of like the idea of them in here. But then we won't have room for enough Harpies. I guess we could move down to 3 units of Black Ark Corsairs, but I'm a little bit wary of that not being enough of a melee line, as this army's gonna need it. I'll think about it. I will continue thinking about it. The rest of you are, I believe, fine, and I guess we could just save the limited amount of cash that we have for this particular turn. Alright, skip, and... Ooh, casualty or punishment. Good, and turn. Alright, these guys were stuck and then they'll be destroyed. Good for Admiral Moksha for landing. Alright, recruitment complete down to 3.6k. Alright, just keep an eye on it. Ooh, free Whip of Misery for Admiral Moksha. Do you want to hold on to this for now? Maybe hold on to it for now and then we might swap it out later. There's that casualty or punishment rate we've been really hankering for. Rating I don't really care about as much now. Campaign movement range when in enemy territory. I wonder if this counts the sea. The sea is ours, right? So who knows. I do want that armor-piercing weapon damage for the Harpies, but not necessary for now. Let's do the missile strength and weapon strength for Corsairs, since we're using so darn many of them. And then maybe grab the range for the Corsairs and range units as well, since we're starting to use them in decent numbers at this point. Yeah, so you're basically ready, minus the potential need for a Death Hag, but maybe we can do without it in at least one army.
Blood of the Fellhearts.
And then I guess we are going to go for the Sorceresses of Gron. At least this way, this particular line won't be wasted. And we'll go for Master Tormentor as well. And then you still need Sheaf Master a fair bit, which, funnily enough, doesn't do anything for Dark Riders. But what can you do? Oh, Raid Leader also above Scourge Runner Chariots, which we could have used in here as well, potentially. Well, either way. Sheaf Master. Oh, do we need 2 points? Oh, we need 2 points in this. Well, probably won't get any of these guys in this particular army. Let's go Children of Sulek. Alright, let's do that for now. And then, if needed, we'll switch it out. Anyway, Lokhir, you're gonna start the day. Let us redeclare war on these guys. Well, I can actually ask the Rapturous Excess for it. Join war. They really want to be friends as well, go figure. Oh! I wonder, they do also hold mountain territory, so we could give them stuff. It's just that I don't know whether the degree, let's say, to which we want to actually stay aligned with Slaanesh. Again, Dark Elves are not above using Chaos, so it's kind of an iffy situation here. Anyway, we'll go for Druki first strike, I guess, and then, I mean, it'll be auto-resolvable either way, because there's nothing here. Auto-resolve, and sack. And then occupy. We're ready to swap it out. Again, I wanted that to be all of those territories, but oh well. Income from sacking settlements, Blades of the Blood Queen, Knights of the Ebon Claw, and another envoy. Beautiful. I think Masters can hold envoys, right? Oh, of course I already gave you an envoy. Come on, ruin us. What? Oh, what is this? Where are you going? How are you here? Go die somewhere. We can't reach you. I would have preferred not to have to move you right now, but I guess we're gonna have to. Alright, go here. This army is complete, it's just that this army also has the stuff that allows us recruitment of a lot of things, including the bonuses for a recruit rank. And then Cammering, I guess, well, you go by sea or by land. I mean, go by land for now. It'll be a little bit, and you can follow the Black Arcs. Ooh, gotta make sure that these Black Arcs don't get sunk. Well, this one's gonna be fine. But this one's in a little bit of worse situation, let's say. Anyway, Moksha can't reach them, but also Moksha can't leave until we destroy this army. Although I wanted to send Moksha down to Viza. Alright, well, here's what we could potentially do. You go here and then transfer units as needed once again. This for this, and we got 6 and 7, so let's do 6 and 6 for now. And then adjust it as needed. Decent likelihood that this guy's gonna try to go to Alquazaro, but let's hope that it's fine. And then you can go here. These we will replace with chariots. I assume we can't upgrade them to chariots? No, they can't be upgraded to anything. Wait, they can't... Oh, they can be upgraded to cold ones, but it looks like we'd have to... Huh. Or can they? They could be upgraded to cold one chariots, potentially. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's lawful. Cold one knights, household knights, from Dark Rider to household knights. I'm pretty sure most Dark Riders are lowborn, so I'm not so sure about that one. Anyway, you can sit in Alquazaro. Might have to just build them instead. Otherwise it's gonna bother me. And we'll see if we can rack up enough cash to build the stuff that's needed. Oh, also you. You are ready to move on in here if we need to do so, though it's gonna bother me that in this particular... There's a lot of these guys out there. Huh. Portsol, eh? I'm not sure that you can actually handle this many. That's 4 stacks. We don't have enough mana and the sorceress, and we do have the Flock of Doom spam. I was about to say, yeah, it's gonna bother me that these guys don't have the proper SFO stats. We need to, like I said, get that mod going. We could ignore this and leave it for later until they have their stats so that I don't feel bad. I would love to sack it, but I guess we'll wait. And we'll go around it, and then by next episode, hopefully, if I don't forget, I will have downloaded the mod, and then those guys will have good stats. And then we can fight them. Alrighty, also, do you need to build it? No, you don't need to build anything. You're the complete Black Ark, the first Black Ark, the Tower of the Blessed Dread. Admiral Caliph, you had an island near you. Go here for the Sea Corps. And keep on sailing up the coast, and hey, there's a mysterious island over there as well. Loot the carcass, please. And auto-resolve it, please. Why would it be hurting the heroes and ignoring... okay. Game. What are you doing, man? Oh, and then healing doesn't even help us because... I guess ransom captives. Because it won't heal the single entities, but what can you do? Alright, Caliph, you got perfect vigor at least, and more cash for our trouble. Oh, you can actually go into... Oh. No, you can't. I was gonna say you can go into March Stance and grab it because it's a mysterious island, but you need to end the turn in Dread Expansion. And heal very little. And disturbingly little. We should probably also build a Brazen Cauldron here, or we could wait the 2 turns and get the enormous Black Ark, which will enable us to build monsters. Yeah, maybe we can do that. Alright, how about this? We have Line Breaker, which is the main important thing, but I think it's time to start moving through Infamous Liberator. Gotta get to that Elven healing. We just got the completed Casualty Replenishment, and you're still barely healing. Yeah, you're gonna need a Death Hag. No doubt. We got another capacity for Masters, that's good. But we don't have the specific master type that I wanted. Ooh, we do have another Notorious Reaver. Did I get one of these guys in this army? I did. Alright, there was another army that needed one, and I want to make sure that we grab that Notorious Reaver. So, you guys will need one. Do you have one, Admiral Moksha? You do not. Do you want one? You have a lot of heroes. Considering the Masters will lead the Cold One Chariots, but nonetheless, I feel like we should have a Black Ark Reaver everywhere. Sons of Murder, Notorious Reaver. And then I would like to check the Knights as well. We should have them here somewhere. Not here. Here? We have Death Hags, but it's not Death Hags I was looking for, but Assassins. Master Infiltrator and Artful Assassin. Okay, not the ones I wanted. We do have more Sorceress capacity, though. Should we get started on those tech thieves? We very well could.
What now?
And we will get more capacities. Granted, we will need them for the other arcs, but it will enable us to pop in the Sacrifice to Hakarti. On the other hand, we could counteract all of our public order issues by popping Sacrifice to Atharti first. I gotta think about it. Although, wait, if I think about it, then we won't be able to recruit stuff. Let's do... Okay, first of all, let's do the critical stuff. Black Arc upgrade here, and you're fine. You're moving. You need an upgrade? Yes. An expensive upgrade. And then you need an upgrade. Alright, so you guys can stay here. I'm just going to assume that this guy's not going to go for you, and if, honestly, even if he does, he'll fail. You can get Line Breaker, though. All the Black Arcs and their lords should have at least a Line Breaker. And then Admiral Balthanol, you can go into Dread Expansion as well. Oh, we could take the time to recruit more stuff as needed. For the other Black Arcs. Did I not build the other shades? Wait. Yes, I did. Okay.
Lord of the Black Court.
And there's nothing interesting here. Oh, we wanted one more Reaper Bolt Thrower and I guess some more Black Arc Corsairs to intersperse amongst these armies. So let's do that. Like so. And then again, we'll swap in whatever else is missing / needed once we decide what those particular armies are going to look like. Scout, you're moving northward, and we should have at least a little bit... Oh, wow, lots of buildings to be building. Alright, definitely the money building. Gotta make that cash. You are the slave market, which is technically a money building, so yes. Ooh, hello, yes to wine, vineyard. Whatever disturbing kind of wine these guys make. And I guess we can start collecting income here now to counteract some of the, well, a lot of the massive losses we started to suffer. I'm gonna say upgrade, I don't know. Wine gives us control. This gives us nothing critical. So yeah, let's upgrade Bilbali. Like so. And, ooh, San Luis. Definitely the gem mine. And definitely the Dark Elf Harbor, and that's all we have the cash for, unfortunately. Alright, well... And we're just gonna have to do more raiding. A diplomacy check. More trade agreements are available to us. Scryer wants to trade now. Assuming this isn't their territory, but as long as they're not taking territory on the coastline, I don't really care. They can have the interior of Bretonia. We don't want it. We want the coastline.
Experiments to do.
Let's do the trade agreement with them. Again, Dark Elves are betray happy, so if we want, we can always do that as needed, but we can make money off of them in the meantime. We'll save the defensive alliance with Eshin for now as well, and man, the other Dark Elven factions, they're doing too well. They're not confederating, but at least our relationship with them will continue to grow over time. And oh, I was going to give an envoy to one of the masters. Who has a master again? Did I do that or did I not do that? You. I did not do that. I had intended to, but then forgot. There we go. What do we have here? Bodyguard we don't really care about. High Elf Slave will go into whatever lord is an administrator. Which territories aren't collecting income? You're fine. Yeah, I'd rather have the growth, I think. Though on the other hand, 600 gold per turn isn't too bad, and it's not like that place is... Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? Never mind. Growth. Growth until we get to tier 4, because tier 4 gives us a very important upgrade. For all Black Arcs. Pina Wood, you can be upgraded, though. We had exactly 1,000 gold. Perfection. And Lequeno, we can not repair because we can't afford it, but we can get rid of the... We want to get rid of the Artisan's House here? Keep it for now, and then we'll see. End turn. Alright, first of all, where did that little Bretonian army go? There it is. Alright, Admiral Dekunkar and Admiral Arinmo. You guys can probably knock it out. Because I'm thinking that Admiral Balthanol Shadow Dart is done in terms of his army is complete and he's ready to go. Maybe it's time to sail to the Empire. And we can deal with stuff up here, potentially, or we could just let Admiral Conwovale keep going up this way and then... but decent options. Assuming we don't need to recruit anything else, and this guy's gonna be a while until he's ready. Oh, but free XP. You, and you. Let's go here. And let's make sure that you have Line Breaker, which you do, so you should have no problem killing off this little army. And this little army had nowhere to go. Auto resolve. Get that little extra bit closer to the appropriate rank. We are going to, let's say, kill captives. Come on, free slaver. No dice. Oh well, but a free level, and that's almost just as good. Alright, keep going this way, and then get ready to upgrade your Black Arcs as needed. You, Camring, your army not quite ready, but as long as you're near to the other Black Arcs, they should be able to still deal with it. You, I guess, are good to go then. There's nothing from your buildings that we need anybody else to recruit, I take it, at least not at this time, so it's time to sail. Alright. You, yeah, you're gonna go north. Let's go to the Empire. Or possibly to Norska, wherever we end up stopping at. And then the next one, I guess, is gonna go round this way and then start up of this. I mean, we'll probably need to send several. One here, one here, one here. And we'll need to send a real army here as well to actually pick up the internal territory. Whoa! Huh. All of these Bretonnians, I'm glad you sailed out here. Huh. I guess that means Admiral Decankar is going to have to stay here. Also, we need to build you, and we need to build you and you. There goes all of our cash again. But it is what it is. Camering has moved. You need to deliver these units, Mr. Admiral Exarian, although you also need to build/upgrade stuff. Well, I guess you can deliver this stuff first. Wait. Yeah, you can deliver this stuff for... Oh. Huh. Well, I guess we'll besiege you then. Or blockade you until Camering arrives. And we'll see if this guy's willing to sally out and fight you in the water. Like so, valiant defeats a lot of great swords and stuff, so he certainly has an opportunity, and we mostly have Dark Riders. What are you again? Oh, yeah, Reaver. We can't pop you into the army until we trade one of these off, so it's gonna have to wait. So just sit there, sit nearby, and we'll get ready for it. I don't want to waste one of the units recruited since they cost us 1,000 whatever gold. You, Lokhir, are you able to reach Montenas? Not this turn, but I'm willing to bet you can go into raiding stance. And we'll still get a decent chunk of change out of that. This needs to be traded away for money, so we'll demolish this, repair this, and then build a military structure. You can raid. And get ready to move to Montenas, which is worth a lot of sack value. Beautiful. Alright, that'll fund some Black Arc stuff. And ooh, Mysterious Island has popped up here. Alright, Vale. You are going to keep moving. You're healed up now. We're ignoring these guys until... Oh, maybe we can actually have you go over here, because that should be by next episode. Hello, Bretonnians. I clicked on Breton, didn't I? And then... it's doing the thing. Cancel move. Are you able to reach this in one go? You are not. Alright, so you can go for it next turn then. Like so. Yeah, like, gotta remember to re-download that mod. Anyway, what else do we have here? Keleth, you are ready to move again. Grab that Mysterious Island. And Fortified Grog, I guess. Obsidian Amulet for free, and a Curse of Cannibalism, a regen for the army. Very nice. You have to heal as you go, so just... There we go. Oh my lord, you heal slow. Yeah, you need a Cainite Temple desperately, and you also need to upgrade your Black Arc, but we don't have the 6.4k to do it. Ugh. Okay, can anybody here get that money somehow? Probably not, eh? Oh well, we'll get it next turn once we take that 13 sack value. So as soon as Scout stops moving, I guess we're ready to go to next turn then. And we can do sacrifice to authority shortly. With the dictat cost reduction, we can pop it off and then immediately pop a few dictats for more money, I guess. Our public order is actually okay now. Everywhere is more or less fine. So we don't need the public order dictat, we can use the money-making dictat. Yes, alright. Skip, 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 and turn. Alright, and they're doing kind of the same thing we're doing with all of these little mini fleets, but they're like half armies, just enough to take poorly defended settlements, and not enough to threaten an arc. Are you kidding me? That is so tremendously rude, and that was one of the Black Arc Reavers that was in this army, wasn't it? Well, screw you too. Huh. I could get another one and just pop them in. We do have the capacity still, don't we? Ooh, we do have a Sworn First Mate one as well. What now? You're the one with the Notorious Reaver, eh? Yeah, maybe we'll put you into Camering's army then. Speaking of, Camering, go right here. And then you can land and then go into his army. If the game wants to be like that. Like so. Camering's army isn't full because it still lacks the What is this? Minus 15 leadership when fighting against Skaven denial. Oh, because you've been moving around in Skaven territory for a while. Fair enough. What can you do? You can raid. That's what you can do. Seafarer, a brutal business, and we're looking okay. Alright, Deathmaster Snitch, I think it's time to ally. Screw it. It doesn't look like he's going to take that settlement, so we will go for an ally then. Need those trading partners. Defensive alliance, give us all your money. And we'll probably switch to... well, we might switch to military. I don't actually know about that. I don't want to get drawn into some silly fight. One more turn until the right can be popped. Mr. Lokhir, go for Druki first strike and hit Montenas. But before you do... two things. First of all, you can now... we have Ravager rewards. We will have some monstrous stuff, so we might keep his Manticore. We'll definitely have some sea creatures in his army. So we can still get use out of Confer Bloodlust. Oh, right, now you know what, let's get 2 points in Ward of Cain. I was also thinking we could go for Infamous Raider at the very least, just to get that sacking settlement bonus. You know what, yeah, let's go for Infamous Raider. We'll still get a decent use out of that, because he's sacking and raiding a lot. And also, aren't you also able to buff that up further? Income from sacking settlements, 10%. Thank you, thank you. Do we actually need to fight this? They got Temple Guard. I don't dislike that. And ooh, Jungle Swarm is actually devastating, isn't it? You know what? That might be worthy of a fight. Let's, in fact, let's do it right now. I'm just leveling up first and then going for it. Replenish troops. You will want to get Retinue Physician, but you're relatively in danger, so let's get you Impassioned as well. Absolute Precision into Whip of Agony. Nice little debuff. And what do we have here? This master has Knightly Prestige, max that out, and then we'll go for... I mean, I guess we could go through Show No Weakness. Might be able to get more mileage out of We Are the Elite, but on the other hand, it's probably both fine. Let's max out this line. Oh, well, we actually have enough points, because you also need your own fighty points. Gotta be careful about over-investing into this line. Well, let's just hope it'll be fine. And then the Sorceress, you... You know what? You have taken a lot of range damage in the past, so I'm thinking you should also probably grab Ward of Cain, even though there's some really good stuff in here. Yeah, fine. Now let's go for Ward of Cain. Alright, good enough. Fighting time. Pyrrhic victory? We'll see.
The Kraken rumbles, the riches and murder await.
Alrighty, here we go. Riches and murder may await, but once again we have to break through that gate, and ooh, the unit of Ice Blades, the Bleak Swords, despite that gold shield of theirs and them being heavily armored compared to Bleak Swords, are going to have a bad time against the enemy towers firing down upon them, as they've already lost about 25 to 30% of their HP. Going to try to move them into the cover of the gate while we try to batter it down, and speaking of, we should probably speed it up while we do. While we're waiting for that gate, before I forget, once again, we have reached the engagement threshold, and this will be a longer episode, hour adjacent, as I like to call it. And since this is the 5th episode, that's where we traditionally lower the engagement threshold for the first time. So from now on, 400 likes and 60 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. And do once again keep in mind that the thresholds, the gauge of the interest, also determine the length of campaigns, as in how long we run for. Anyway, here we go. Looks like the enemy Lord Asaurus Scar veteran here will be facing off against Lokhir, and I do like the contrast and the scale colors between the Saurus and between Lokhir's Sea Dragon here. Makes it, again, a nice visual. Enemy Ripperdactyl Riders move on in to try to surround Lokhir and do that armor-piercing damage to him, but they're kind of fragile. In fact, no kind of about it, they're very fragile. And they also got hit with a Fate of Biuna, which means tons of damage on them from the spell, and also severe debuffs in terms of their HP. Nonetheless, ooh, was that the enemy lord just getting executed by the Sea Dragon? That was pretty cool. I saw him up in the air. Huh, I gotta pay attention to that. I didn't know that the Sea Dragon had an execution animation. Could have been a coincidence, but it might have also not been. Anyway, the Lord may be out and the Ripperdactyls may be out as well, though it was a pretty cool sort of contest between the Sea Dragon and them, sort of flitting around. There's still a fair bit of work to do. The enemy has a pretty strong melee line with... What the heck? What? Did the Sea Dragon just... What the... Is this some kind of polymorph or something? Well, I mean, it wasn't really a polymorph, but just reduced in size. Huh, freaky. Hey, come on, it happens to all sea dragons. I don't know what that was, but I am amused. I don't even remember what I was speaking about. Alright, the enemy has a pretty great melee line in the form of 4 units of Saurus and 2 units of Temple Guard, certainly not to be underestimated. I'd wager that if it was solely melee units on melee units, i.e. the Twin Blade Corsairs and the Saurus and Temple Guard facing off against each other, the enemy would have a very strong chance of defeating our, well, the melee elements of our contingent. Unfortunately for them, we have heroes, we have spells, we have items like this Pit of Shades, using rubric of Dark Dimensions, though here we can see that the Saurus and the Temple Guard are still resistant enough to survive it, unlike the other enemies that have gotten hit by it in the past. Lokhir and the Manticore are also trying to focus down that most critical of units, the Basti with the Reviv Crystal, but also as usual just bouncing around to disrupt enemy formations on that Sea Dragon. Normal size now. There we go. Formation disruption still pretty valuable, and the fear and terror probably pretty... Ah, there he goes again. Oh! What the heck? Huh. Wait. So it becomes tiny when it does that animation. Oh, it's a cool animation, huh? I take it that's an animation borrowed from... is that a Krog Gar animation? Whose animation is that? Well, either way, the dragon becomes really tiny when it does that. There we go. It looks like we brought down the enemy Basti, not a moment too soon, I guess, but the rest of the enemy army is pretty much done for. The Saurus and the Cold One Riders and the Skinks are out, and only the remnants of some Temple Guard remain in the fight. One of the enemies is rallying as well, perhaps to move to the aid of the Temple Guard, but the battle is very much ours at this point. 95% balance of power. Was the Sea Dragon doing that last episode, or did I just not notice? It's clearly an infantry execution animation. I mean, admittedly, I've been using it mostly, well, maybe not mostly, but a lot to cycle charge through enemies to disrupt their formations and repeatedly bounce from unit to unit, so maybe it hasn't had time to do that animation because I like to keep it on the move. Admittedly, devoting a lot of micro time to Lokhir, but anyway. All good. Either way with that, actually not with that, there is still one little unit of skink skirmishers here. And there's actually oh wow, they didn't commit one of their units of Temple Guard. Oh AI, why are you so silly? Alright, well, might as well head towards the Temple Guard then. Huh, I wonder if the actual hitbox changes or whether that's just a visual change on the Sea Dragon. Because if the hitbox changes, wouldn't that mean that it would be... less units hitting it when it becomes small? I don't know. Interesting nonetheless. See if it happens again here. Although, ooh, look at that. We just took about 10-15% HP damage from that Temple Guard, unsurprisingly. There we go, look at that. I mean, Temple Guard are a pretty darn elite tier 4 unit. Hey, there he goes. There we go, and back up to normal size. Well, that's just the, I don't know. It happens with modded units sometimes. And there we go. With that, the Temple Guard will shatter and the battle was ours. But the one unit of Temple Guard facing off a one-on-one versus Lokhir, doing 25% more damage to him, was more damage than pretty much anything else in the army did to him. So still, props to the Temple Guard for being very effective. Alright, no problem at all. Once again, Lokhir doing massive amounts of damage. It's nearly 70k this time around. Looks like he's, I guess, doing a little bit better with every fight. And massive gold value as well. Mostly because he was fighting the enemy dinos and killed the enemy lord as well, but still managed to rack up plenty of kills thanks to the occasional briny breath. We will sack the place for 16k. Lovely, and then we'll occupy it to later trade it for even more cash.
Crew will see to it.
Occupy. Hopefully to somebody who can actually afford it. We'll have to use a little bit of that cash to repair it, but that's fine. Let's build another military structure here as well, just so that when we sell it off, it's worth a little bit more. And then same thing right here. Hopefully it won't rebel. Anyway, now that we have a little bit of money... Oh, actually, let's move everybody who... Wait, did I move everybody this turn? Okay, so I did not move you. Okay, so apparently not. Yeah, okay, this I really don't like the way that it doesn't show that they have movement remaining. But anyway, you are at war with some guy. Okay, these guys will join war against us, but that's fine. They'll probably sail towards us, but we've got the seas full of black orcs. Alrighty. And you will hit Merton for a quick little sec and auto-resolve. Yeah, a little bit of damage to our guys, but that's just fine, and a decent amount of sack value. Fantastic. Alright, and then just keep on going. Can you head on out to the Great Ocean again? You can, wherein you will heal up more, and then just go to the next territory afterwards. Wait, stop moving for a sec. And go here.
My plans must wait.
There we go. Now we can actually heal. I find it so weird that we can't heal. I mean, I guess maybe it's supposed to represent the fact that this is enemy waters and thus they're attacking us. And oh, great. There was a Bretonnian little fleet here, but they have gone away, and I don't know to where. Go figure. Now, I don't really want to move you away from this. Somewhat concerning. Anyway, I guess we will send you to Portsol. So go this way, and who knows, maybe you'll find the Bretonnians while you're out there. Or spot the Bretonnians. Though, decent likelihood they went back there. Yeah, don't see them anymore. Oh well. You're headed to Portsol then, and you will not be building anything, at least not right now. Alright, you guys are kind of stuck where you are. If those guys come back, you're going to have to defend Malok's. Well, actually, no, there's no way that they take Malok's lair, but these weaker places, very much a possibility. Now, you all need sorceress's cabins, though admittedly, it's not super critical right now. Maybe we use this time to build... Wait. Okay, you can't build... Okay, wait, actually, you can build this stuff. Yeah, alright. You build this and this. And nothing else for now. You have to stay here-ish, but go a little bit closer, because you can actually afford to build the Harpy building. And we can use it to actually, well, build the Harpy building. Alright, so, Harpy building, right here. Like so, and then you can both Dread Expansion. Lovely. Alright, and I believe the only one we have left is... Caliph out there? Oh, MOKSHA. Okay, yes. Well, actually, MOKSHA doesn't actually need to move. Caliph, keep going this way. And healing an atrociously tiny amount. I don't believe there are actually any ports out here, but as I recall, there's a decent likelihood of islands spawning, and, well, we're still racking up that XP and waiting to, you know, sort of make something interesting out of this army. Otherwise, I would have had them fighting more. But I wanted to get the units in there that, well, need to be in there. Alright, everybody else is fine other than Scout. Wait, didn't I want to build a higher level... A moment. I wanted to build a higher level Black Ark somewhere. Oh, I think it was Admiral MOKSHA who can't do so right now. Yeah, he wants to go to tier 4, but he can't. Because he's busy. What about Lokhir? Yeah, he can go to tier 4. That's lovely. And I guess we can max out the prison wing then. I guess we don't have much space for other buildings, so we should just go up to tier 5. Which is fine. It's a reduction for the army's cost anyway, and especially once we have the Tower of Monsters in there, that's going to be costly. Alright, well, let's do the building since we have some possibility. Yes, more master capacity, more trade goods and ports, more... actually, that's a question. Do we want to make this place a... Slave slum income territory? Not necessarily. I guess we could do the artisan's house here and here. It might not be worth it to go into to do that in territories where there isn't as many things, as many settlements, you know what I mean. And here we could do more master capacity. That's a possibility as well. Anyway, we'll do this. We'll upgrade Sahagun, though 10 turns. Whatever. And then I guess here we could do more master capacity as well. Alright, and then Dark Elf residences, we'll hold on to them for now, though we will eventually get rid of them. Here we can go for the Sorceress's Abode, because we need those everywhere. And lastly, Estelian Highlands, you are fine as you are. Next turn, we use some of the slaves for diktats. So, skip, 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 and then the turn. And, oh! Huh. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Looks like one of the little Bretonnian fleets have decided to attack Admiral Moksha while he was at sea and blockading these guys. That's interesting. Also interestingly, we are unable to retreat. Huh, this has never happened to me before. Well, live or die, Mr. Moksha. This is your moment. Good luck. Alright, unfortunately looks like another night battle, but it does seem to happen to the Black Arcs. What we could try to do, well, not really. I was going to say move down here maybe where it's a little bit lighter, but maybe not. Well, we're going to move down here anyway. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, all that aside, this is MOKSHA'S moment to live or to, well, be sunk. We are facing off against 2.5 stacks of Bretonnians and Imperials combined, with an army that, despite being known as the Tempest of Talons, MOKSHA does not yet have any of his Cold Ones to rely upon, and not even any Cold One mounts, either for the Sorceress or for the Master here. So, we're just going to have to deal, just going to have to survive. I also do have our Dark Riders, which are probably, well, while they're extremely fragile, they're still probably going to be instrumental here, as we'll need them to chase down enemy units and hopefully tear through any peasant bows or whatever other pathetic peasant units they can reach. Anyway, down we go, heading towards the enemy army. The other two armies are going to move on in as reinforcements. And so, in best practice, annihilate this first army before the others arrive. We're going to start the battle off with a chill wind through the enemy, slowing them down with the frostbite, though that's more for the damage here than anything else. The men-at-arms should in theory have little to no chance against our Corsairs in melee, and just a matter of time until we cut them all down. The enemy range units are admittedly the much bigger threat here, and thus in the background, our Dark Riders will begin to work on them. Though again, Dark Riders are a very fragile light cav. Like many light cav units, you gotta think of them more as Warhound units, or treat them as Warhound units on the battlefield than cavalry units, because I mean, even many range units will severely damage them in melee. So charge on in, do a little bit of work, and then get the heck out of there before you take too much damage. Speaking of, one of them, I believe, did get charged by a unit of mounted yeomen here, and the mounted yeomen took about 60% of their HP while fighting at the same time, and these Black Arc Corsairs. So again, even light cav on light cav is going to be dangerous, very dangerous to the both of them. Otherwise, though, this first little army was never going to be a major threat and was cut down relatively quickly. The Prophetess, annoyingly a Prophetess of Life? Yeah, it's a Prophetess of... wait. Huh. She's a Prophetess of Life, but doesn't have... She has Windblast and Harmonic Convergence. But she does not have... Awakening of the Wood? Huh, weird. But she's rank 9. Prophetess of Life. Did she not have Awakening of the Wood? Maybe Bretonnian... Oh, it's been a while, admittedly, a really long while since I played Bretonnia, so maybe the Prophetess has a mixed lore with some with harmonic convergence, as well as some life lore spells. It just says life, which threw me for a loop there for a bit. Anyway, the amounts of power is at about, let's say, 70% in the enemy's favor. Ooh, I'm a little bit worried about... Damn, that Again, the Murderous Prowess will probably activate before the enemy gets to us, won't it? I probably should have stopped these guys from firing away at the mounted yeoman archers here. Was hoping to use their anti-large bow to cut this unit down before it annoyed us, and because all the other enemy units are, well, slowly marching their way towards us. Yeah, definitely got to pay attention to that in the future. Alright, well, that means we got to close the distance with whatever enemy units we can as fast as we can. There's a unit mounted yeoman here, and the AI will foolishly send them directly into melee combat. They'll send the Dreadlord, or the Fleet Master, and the Death Hag flying. But they should be able to quickly knock out at least a few of them and make use of their murderous prowess, but otherwise we gotta close the distance with whatever other units so that we can. There's another unit of mounted yeomen, and certainly they got some air on those Blackheart Corsairs, but they don't have enough damage to be threatening. I also noticed that they have a very similar color scheme to ours, don't they? Huh, interesting. Well, it'll all look red soon enough. And here we go, the enemy Imperials have arrived, halberdiers. Moving on in to help the mounted yeomen. Swordsmen, great swords, etc., etc., etc. I think there are 2 units of great swords running around here, at least 2. We got 1, 2, I believe. Yeah, there's the other 2. Alright, so there's all 4. And that's a lot of great swords. And all the while we fight these guys, we got Bretonnians who appear to be moving in to hit our army in the rear. We had to leave a contingent of Blackheart Corsairs behind them or behind the rest of our army to slow them down. So we're going to pincushion them as best we can and then back off as best as we can as well. Anyway, once again, MOKSHA'S moment, live or die. Bounce power is still very much in the enemy's favor, and our units have started to take damage. The great swords in particular are certainly going to be an issue here. And probably while we do have Chillwind to rely upon spell-wise, that's all we have, as this is a low-level sorceress, and we don't really have anything else as yet. But hopefully eventually we'll be able to, if this army survives, call upon something a little bit better. A Blade Storm would have really come in handy here. But oh well, and Chillwind is much better off used on the archers and the halberdiers and other such units. Anyway, cavalry-wise, it looks like we have charged towards the handgunners and the crossbows. We tried to charge the enemy mortars, but it looks like the Knights of the Realm were protecting the mortars and decided to go after the Dark Riders. Interestingly, it seems that the Knights of the Realm are somehow magically faster than the Dark Riders, which feels very strange, because they have significantly lower speed. And they're heavy cav as opposed to the light cav. But yeah, they just caught up to them and destroyed them. Well, that's unfortunate for the Dark Riders, but what can you do? Hopefully the Tempest of Talons will have some Cold One Riders to deal with that sort of situation later on. Of course, they won't be nearly as buffed in this army as they would be in an army led by a lord that's specifically built for it. But again, that's kind of the deal with what we're doing with the fleet, and they'll have like 2/3 of their army made up of Corsairs, and then the rest being the whatever name of power, unique name they roll. Anyway, bounce power is at still only about 30% in our favor. The Imperial army is having something of a bad time, but the Bretonnian army is only just arriving. I see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units of peasant bows. And those darn long bows are going to be something of an annoyance. Going to try to knock at least a few of them out with a little bit of a Black Arc support ability. I believe this is the basic version for MOKSHA, as he doesn't have his upgrades yet, and we can see it does barely anything, even to peasants, like 10% HP. At max level, it probably would have heavily damaged them, if not outright destroyed them. But what can you do? It's all we have to rely upon. Alright, the Imperials are nearly done for. A few of the swordsmen, or great swords rather, and 1 unit of halberdiers are still in the fight. But it looks like they're still in the process of being cut down, and at last the bounce of power shifts and just slightly in our favor. Definitely having to fight in all directions here in this particular battle, and you gotta admit it's a pretty great fight. Again, it's also kind of interesting that we had no option to retreat. It was quite literally do or die. But I guess the enemy fleet came up behind us while we were blockading the enemy, so we got enemies in the port and we got enemies behind us, and it makes sense while we cannot escape. To be fair, neither can the enemy escape if we manage to defeat them here. Anyway, big old pile of battle pilgrims and men-at-arms have arrived to do battle with the rest of our units. Some of the great swords have rallied as well, simply because we don't have the same number of units as the enemy does and can't chase down every unit. On the bright side, though, unlike the great swords and the halberdiers, it's going to be significantly easier to cut down the men-at-arms and battle pilgrims, and the chill wind will do a lot more damage to them than it would have done to the great swords. Actually, out of curiosity, sorceress, you've got 77 kills only, very little, but 45,000 damage. So yeah, Chillwind not likely to kill off too many models, but the HP damage is certainly there. It's a little bit like Flock of Doom in that regard. On the bright side, though, it looks like with that, the enemy army is done. As the last of the melee units fall, the peasants that are of the range variety will decide to book it on out of there. And there we are. Looks like Moksha managed to carry the day and earn his place in our faction by survival, which is appropriate for the Druki. And Druki masters and lords of basically, I don't know, have an entire life of unceasing betrayal and fighting and all that. To move up into the upper echelons of a Druki society means having survived a lot, so it does make sense why they are masters of war. Anyway, Pyrrhic victory, certainly, but definitely a worthy fight for this Black Ark. Ooh, alrighty, definitely a close call there, but at the end of the day we managed to carry it. Pyrrhic victory, surely, and definitely a long brawl with us being attacked from 3 different sides as well. Ooh, this one unit of Corsairs, 462 kills and 40,000 damage, 30,000. The Corsairs certainly proved themselves here. Good work from the Dark Riders, even though we do intend to upgrade them or swap them out. They were very fragile, and I did notice that they get obviously obliterated / run down by the enemy Knights of the Realm. Even if we make these guys into chariots, we'll probably need something to still protect them from enemy cavalry, otherwise the cavalry will dominate them, so certainly something to think about. Anyway, I guess here we're going to want to heal up because we're severely damaged. Alright, Bjorling destroyed, Pigeon Plucker Pendant, and Seafarer forged to kill. More power for our Black Ark Corsair. Sacrifice to Authority up factor for ranking up while gaining a large income via trade. Hopefully we can get a few more of these. Hey, we just got 2. Alrighty. Can any one of you guys hold a factor? Maybe one of the Masters, for example. Ancillaries and factor can only be held by Lords. Well, screw you too. Alrighty, well then, Admiral Exarian, how about you? Why Exarian? Because I saw him first. Let's go for... Lokhir's gonna get the other war banner, so... Factor, yes. Alrighty. Now... Are you guys able to heal up under blockade? It looks like they certainly are, but that's hopefully okay. You will attack Viza here. Like so. Pyrrhic victory still with many losses. Really? For this? Huh, go figure. Does it have a defensive structure? It does not. Alright, so we are free to move on in. So we'll deal with that. Exarian, you will, like... I was about to say, you can move closer, but then... We don't know if there's another army belonging to these guys out here that we'd have to deal with. But it is what it is. Anyway, you, both in all, are headed to Portsol, where we will hopefully fight a ton of enemies. I wonder if they're still there. That they are.
I can't. Feared by all.
They may very well attack us themselves, considering that they outnumber us a fair bit, so, well, we'll give them a chance. Now, we will need what for Shades? That's Raid Leader, giving them charge bonus, melee defense, and a little bit of missile strength. Admittedly, not much, but I guess we'll start going through that. We still need the blue line, which is pretty critical for the admirals. Oh, hello, and we have ourselves another island here, isn't it lovely? Another materials at sea would really hit the spot game. Ooh, Castle Lyonnaise will be our next target as well. How to resolve this? Alright, and we will... I guess we gotta heal up. Alright, heal up. Alright, anything interesting this time around? We have another materials at sea. Perfection. You are just able to go to Albion Channel if you want, which is neutral, but then you won't be able to reach Lyonnaise next turn. That said, it's a tier 5. Ooh, we got... Okay, we'll need to be full HP for that one, so let's go heal here then. To the Albion Channel, where we suddenly start healing to full. Good. And we won't need to build anything else, but we will hit Lyonnaise right after. Now, materials at sea means we need to be building stuff. It also means we need to be rushing stuff, so back to this sort of dynamic. Or at the very least, rushing stuff that... Actually, first of all, Diktat, yes? Yes. Diktat cost reduction. We also do have the building diktat available to us should we want to reduce construction costs further, but I don't think we have any, like, tier 5s or anything available as yet. Unfortunately. Oh. This place will get there during materials at sea, so if we pop slave drive and then a rush tier 5, we'll be able to get all the tier 5 stuff here, which will be very, very nice. Alright, so yes, I think we're going to pop slave drive here. Construction cost reduction and... yeah. Slave drive. Alrighty, that will come in handy, and then we'll just need to make sure that we switch... Ooh, is there anything here that gives growth? There is unfortunately not. We need to remember to switch to increase slave production quotas. What else do we have here? So you could be rushed, but there isn't really any need for it. You are not ready to go to tier 4. How are you doing? Similarly not, unfortunately. What about you? We could rush this. It's not much, but it's still possibly worth it. Well, yeah, maybe. So that we can start building these. Alright, building, and building, and building. This can't be rushed. Let's build this, and then let's go 1, 2, and... Huh, okay, that was a weird way to unlock it, but sure. And then you can go for the Sorceress's Abode, because similarly, we need these everywhere. Oh! Do we forgo it and get a Cainite Temple? Well, the Public Order, or the Escape and Corruption is being obliterated slowly but surely, so maybe we can deal with it. And then here we, I guess, will go for conscription halls, since there isn't enough room for all of the crafting districts here, and it's a 3 settlement province, so feels like the thing to do. Anyway, you are next. We will upgrade the Gem Cutter's Workshop and the Halls of Mustering. Can't rush, or there's no purpose in rushing any of these. Right before it ends, we should probably rush this place, because... it's the construction cost increase here, right? Yeah, plus 50%, so right now we're at least counteracting it. I gotta remember to try to do that. Anyway, Malok's Lair, keep on growing best as you can, and then this place as well. Well, frankly, all of these single territories, not Isla de Sangre because it's still on cooldown, but we'll have to pay attention to that. But Miramar Hills, Scab Reach... we could increase the growth via the slave drive, though I'd wager it won't, yeah, with 12 turns. Even if we have it, it still won't give us enough growth, will it? So we could just do the money making, although it's only 2.5k, it feels almost not worth it. Pina Wood, you can be ignored. Alaqueno, you will not be kept. And thus, it's good to use the open markets here for the free money. Yeah, alright. Open markets, free cash, and we'll do open markets here as well for free cash. Lovely. And Laquena, we're not going to upgrade you any further. Alright, well, I guess we'll just need to wait until next turn to continue building stuff. We just don't have the territories available as yet. I wish we could make this place grow, but the only way to do that is by fighting, which we're already doing. Anyway, let's go for reworked crossbows for that additional range. Income from Black Arcs, income from slaves, mill and missile. Just want to see if there's anything really interesting here. Black Arcs building construction cost, that's nice. And what do we need for Lord of the Sea to unlock Lokhir's special stuff, or release the Kraken, shipboard duels? Where are these? Dank slave holds, pay regional shamans. I don't see any of those. No, seriously, where are those? Huh, wait. Oh, we need to get these to unlock this. Okay, I was looking here. That's okay, that's fine. And to unlock these, we need tier 5 buildings. Oh, actually, no, we just need a dragon hatchery. Alright, well, I think we can do that. Hello, here recruit rank +5 for Black Ark Reavers. That's nice. Alright, dragon hatchery, I take it is this thing? Yes, which we will get as soon as this place levels up. Lovely. Alright, diplomacy, check real quick. Guardians of the Valley, you are at war with Clan Claw and Arachnos. Are you friendly with these guys? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could be friends with the various Tomb Kings. Do we want to trade with them, or do we want the 3k gold? I feel like over time, the trade agreement will become more worth it, so we'll do this for now. Alright, and we'll ignore the Slaaneshi. Clan Gouger's Scryer wants a defensive alliance, so we could certainly do that. It will at least offer us a vision down here. And then maybe we'll later give them some territory to betray Nakari and kill him. So I kind of have my, I don't know, sights set on doing that at this point. Alright, fine. Scryer defensive alliance, and then again, somebody needs to hold interior territories in Bretonnia. Like so. And what do we have here? Yeah, I don't really care about this. I would care if you went over here, though, so we do need to be wary of it. But there's a lot of mountain territories that we don't want or need, so I feel like we can trade them for better stuff, and I see you're still kind of having trouble with all of this, but that perhaps shouldn't be too surprising. Anyway, Lokhir, you're gonna head on over to Tehenowen. And it looks like the Slaaneshi are doing so as well, but that's fine. I would like you to... Ooh, he'll have a full stack by the time we're there. Isn't that lovely? Go into encamp stance, and I guess we should spend some of the money to actually upgrade these support abilities. Not that Lokhir really needs them, but, you know, principle of the thing and all of that. Admiral Xarian, you can't move. These guys... I mean, these guys can move. I assume that these guys wouldn't be able to reach us here. I don't know where that other fleet went, but we're just going to have to figure it out, or find it, or just get wrecked. We'll see. One or the other. Alright, and then you have that harpy structure. But we don't have the admiral that increases the... Oh. It was this thing, right? Arena? Yeah, unit XP rank. At least for a while we'll need that. So let's get it here, because Admiral Dekankar is the higher level of these guys. You can also all go back into Dread Expansion. Xarian is fine for now. And then I guess we'll need to fight this. Alright, so let's level up Mr. Camring. You were going through Sheaf Master, and I guess that's not changing anytime soon. Black Ark Reaver, you can get Dreadful Gaze. It's the only real thing. You just had a real nice fight. Mr. Tempest of Talons. Though you don't have those talons available as yet, you will eventually. You will want to... Well, until we get them. Scourge Runners... Let me see what this does again. So it's, yeah, it's Cold One Dread Knights, Cold One Knights, and... Cold One Chariots. Alright, fair enough. I guess we'll go through the blue line for now for you. Yeah. Alright, let's go through Infamous Raider. You'll be raiding and sacking and all that. You. Definitely max out Chillwind, but maybe we'll get Bladewind first, because it's, well, pretty damn great. Replenish troops in Dance of Death and Impassioned. And then the Master. Start with training. Grab Nobleborn, Ruler, and I guess you can have Indomitable Will as well. Alrighty, and that's it for these guys. Do we have any way to knock down the walls? We do. We have the Reaper Bolt Throwers, which we actually also still need to construct for this particular army, but that should be fine. And, ooh, you know what? Let's do a little round of naming, shall we? We know we're keeping these guys, so let's name some of them. How about Fellheart's Steersman? Black Heart Blades. Everybody's got to have at least some. Black Ark Corsairs, or Raiders of Arema. And one more, Free Company Militia. Alright, let's name one of the Medusae as well, the Muse of Terror. And let's get a few other random names in here. Let's name at least one of the Witch Elves, since it's a newly built unit. That's on Canwovale Life Quencher. How about you, first one? You can be... what do we have here? Bloody Marys. Alrighty, and oh, you know who's been around for a while? That Manticore in Lokhir's army. Here, little fella. You're going to be the Flying Dread. Alright, good enough for now. Oh, wait, we've got the Dark Shards, okay. We'll keep them in this army as well. Fear Shooters. Like so, though I do intend on making another somewhat more Dark Shards-centric army than this one, but anyway, Viza, fight. Alrighty, here we go. Been a bit of a while of recruiting for Mr. Cammering, and of course following Mr. Lokhir around for the entire campaign to try to get up to that rank 10 so we know what to do with his army. Lovely. And now that he has one, we've got the Dark Riders and the Medusa available to us, so we will have a pretty fun time here and getting them their debut fights. Medusa using that sort of railgun-like attack that they've got. I would imagine it's not the most effective on the walls, but they should have enough ammunition to be firing through the enemy, firing through the breaches in the enemy walls once we breach them as well. Mr. Cammering here has been firing at the enemy mortar crew and has destroyed the artillery piece, so that they are now forced to back off and are no longer able to fire upon us. Our couple of units of Dark Shards, limited though they may be, are engaged in a little bit of a range shootout against the enemy, and since we have the shielded variant, they're doing pretty darn good, knocking out the enemy crossbows while taking comparatively little damage themselves. Otherwise, we have our Dark Riders with their repeater crossbows firing on top of the enemy walls and at any units that dare to go up there. Not like they're going to have a effective time of firing back at us. Sort of reminiscent of other, I suppose, elven armies with the focus on range here, but we did get the Barb Storm trait, so may as well put it to good use. And with the this being a Beastmaster with Barb Storm, that means it's a pretty good option to use Medusa and his army, as they thus get the reload time reduction, but then also the monster bonuses as well. Anyway, trying to knock down that gate and those walls with our Reaper Bolt Throwers, so that just means a little bit more range action. And besides, Mr. MOKSHA, after having that very nice battle against all of those enemy armies at once, is moving in to reinforce, so we may as well wait for him to arrive. Ooh, looks like the enemy units have moved a unit of Null... Oh, they had a unit of Null Ironsides here. Good for them. Up on the walls to fire back upon us. Though I would imagine the shields of the Dark Shards still help out tremendously against them. There we go. Nice shot from the Medusa, and it looks like the Null Ironsides have decided to back up off of those walls. Heavy armor aside, they do take 40% or so of their damage. Unit of Swordsmen moves up there next. And they move up there for a few seconds, realize they take too much damage, then decide to move off the walls. Though admittedly, there is, I suppose, there is an argument to be made for it being a decent strategy in the sense of if you send a few shielded units up there, the enemy will waste a lot of its ammunition. And we've certainly dropped down to about 50% of ours on all the Dark Riders, and nearly so in the Medusa as well, so... not the worst idea in the world. The gate has been broken through. First of the walls is down to 1/3 of its HP, and the second of the walls is down to 2/3. All the while, of course, a range fire continues to come down upon the enemy. Looks like following the Null Ironsides, we have the Hawkland long rifles, who are up on top of this gatehouse, which has not been destroyed, but the sheer amount of a range fire coming in means that even if the Merlins absorb like 90% of it, enough will come through to knock out a decent amount of those rifles. And the Hawklanders are much more fragile than the Nolan Ironsides are by comparison. So their unit, unlike the Ironsides, won't survive up here. Lovely. Alright, how are we doing? The bounce power is at about 50-50, but it's about to rise in our favor in 1 minute. Also, Slaneshi giggle, as the reinforcements will make their way forward. First of the walls is breached, and we should be able to fire through it with those Medusa. And of course, if the enemy peels away, if they stay close to the walls, we will fire upon them through the breach. If they peel away from the walls, the arrows will stream through the breach and over the walls as well. Very nice. And we can see over through the gate, one of the Medusae is moving towards it. Let's see if we can't get a blast through the wall. And don't, there we go. Come on. There we go. Oh, no, you fired on top of the wall. Okay, fine, fair enough. I guess it was a unit of greatswords up there, so it's still a pretty critical target. But if you don't want to fire through the gate, maybe you'll want to fire a little bit more through this portion of the wall. Oh, let's see. Come on. Nope, still on top of the wall? Okay, fine. Well, now there's a unit of handguns up there, so actually that does have to be destroyed, to be fair. And the handguns are firing back at us, though I'd wager not for too much longer. Probably should have moved a couple of units here, generally speaking. Better to arc over this portion of the wall and into the enemy here so that the gatehouse doesn't block so many shots, but that's alright. The reason I'm not so worried about the ammunition in this particular battle is because the reinforcements are here, and Moksha will bring Black Ark Corsairs to storm the enemy wall, or storm the enemy settlement instead. Alright, looks like at least a few units are going to try to make their way forward. Huh, okay, well, good for them. Looks like that's an opportunity for one of the Medusae to actually fight in melee, and wow, many of the enemy flying. We've got a 60 charge bonus on the Medusa as well, so we can certainly put that to use, and especially against these types of infantry. Come on, fire now. Okay, maybe too far from the breach. I was hoping that the Medusa would fire through there, but oh well. If it doesn't work, I'll just know it for the future. And besides, we got to get into the enemy settlement at the end of the day anyway, and that doesn't change. And ooh, one of the gunnery units trying to fire back at the Muse of Terror, but she's taken basically no damage so far. You can't even fire at these guys? Come on. I guess this little tiny sort of... there's a tiny little hill here where the enemy units have collapsed, or where the wall has collapsed, and maybe it's preventing the Medusa from firing. Oh well, not a huge deal. It does look like the enemy general will actually sally out and begin bonking away at our Corsairs, and ow! Now she's firing on top. Okay, I guess she just didn't want to. Fair enough. And the enemy general will close the distance, and that means he is going to be close enough for a vile net to net him down, and that means a lot of anti-large fire from all of those Black Ark Corsairs. The Medusa will also fire off her shot, the railgun blast, which will kill off the enemy lord. Perfect. He had a pretty bad time. He didn't count on a net. Alrighty. Lovely. Still, good for him to sallying out. Not maybe so much good for him for sallying out without all the greatswords and other stuff in there. Now, our reinforcements are nearly here, and frankly, the battle is closing in on being ours. The Medusa that we sent in to fight in melee, nice, got 69 kills, but does otherwise have actually taken about 40% of her HP and damage, so we're going to back her off and send the Free Company militia forward instead. I'd like to think a name chosen in mockery of the enemy here. And there we are, halberds versus handbow corsairs. These are, of course, the corsairs from Camring's army, not from MOKSHA'S army. Actually, another nice thing about the names of power is the fact that besides the fact that they provide benefits and all that, they'll make it a lot easier for us to tell our fleet masters and our lords apart from each other. If everyone especially has a unique name like that. Alright, well, some of our Medusae are engaging in melee combat at last, and not to worry, we'll see plenty more Medusae and monsters and all throughout the course of the campaign. The early portion is essentially growing the Black Arks so that they can build their own units. Otherwise, Lokhir would just be sitting there and recruiting for everybody, and I don't want to waste his time doing that. He's got a sack and raid and all that. And of course, also the Black Arcs have to grow to rank 10 so that we get their name of power, and we know what buildings have to be constructed there. But even then, most of the units that we would want for Black Arcs, especially the monsters, are in tier 3 or 4, and thus we have to actually grow the Black Arc to that tier first. Anyway, looks like the battle is very nearly ours now. Cameron on his Scourge Runner chariot moves in, and it looks like, oh wow, only now does the Murderous Prowess activate. Huh. That took longer than I thought. Go figure. I mean, it is a siege, so it does make sense, but still took longer than I thought. Anyway, the Scourge Runner Chariot will lead the troops towards the enemy. And I guess Scourge Runners would also benefit in Cameron's army from the Barb Storm ability, the range, the missile strength, and all that. Could potentially put a couple of Scourge Runners in there should we desire to do so. A little bit of extra anti-large missile fire. I really do like the sort of anti-large missile fire available to the Dark Elves. Between the Handbow Corsairs and the Scourge Runner Chariots, there's a lot of potential there for bringing down monster and cavalry alike. Anyway, we've well and fully entered the enemy settle now, being assailed from several sides, and looks like a few grenade volleys into our units as well, as the enemy has moved on in with a unit of Outriders with grenade launchers. Definitely going to have to be careful with that, as they are absolutely devastating units, really like all grenade units, and frankly, we can't waste our time dealing with other units, so we're going to net down the grenade launchers and then send everybody here to rush them instead. It kind of bothers me that we have an identical color scheme compared to the enemy here. But oh well, because these enemies aren't going to be alive for too much longer. Looks like the Outriders took about half of their HP and damage, but unfortunately the Vile Net ran out, and we're just going to have to continue running at them. The enemy also apparently held a unit of Knights back, who are now charging forth to our Corsairs with handbows. But of course taking all that anti-large damage as they do, and we've got, well, plenty more Corsairs where that came from. So with every second that passes, another unit enters the enemy settlement, and the enemy will get closer and closer to being overrun. Alrighty, tactically not much more to say. We're running down those Outriders with grenade launchers so that they can't explode any of our Corsairs, though admittedly the heavy armor and missile resistance on them should mean that they're still pretty okay against them. 20 missile resistance, 10 physical, and then 90 armor. But grenades are still dangerous enough to warrant being focused down. Anyway, it looks like the Empire Knights have been defeated, and I do believe that was the last units. We can see the enemy leadership down to tiny amounts, and I believe that means the end of the battle is here. Just got to get into proximity with these units, and then they will shatter. I didn't hear the horns of retreat, but I guess we'll either hear them in a second, or perhaps the hornblower is dead anyway. Alright, there we go. Moving on in now, and there we go. Pistoliers will break, and other unit of Pistoliers is wavering. I had to get one more volley of grenades out, but I guess they wasted it on the Medusa. Now they will run, and the battle is ours. And a very nice one, you gotta admit, between MOKSHA'S having to fight all those armies, and then this battle. It took a fair bit of effort to bring Viza down. Ooh, alright, it was actually a pretty darn solid fight. We mostly ran out of ammunition on the Dark Riders and the range units, generally speaking, but then we were able to wade in with the units, the Black Arc Corsairs plus the Medusae, both of which covered around 20,000 damage, pretty darn solid. And at 13,000, Fellheart's Steersmen were carrying the, well, not counting the second sort of pile of Black Arc Corsairs with handbows, but carrying the first ones. Anyway, decisive victory for us. We will sack the place. It was tier 4, meaning it'll go down to tier 3 either way. I mean, we could, On the other hand, since we have materials at sea, if we don't sack it right now, we could immediately upgrade the tier 3 stuff, which might actually mean we might save money on that. Alright, fine, just occupy it. Hope I'm not wrong on this. Yes, okay, so it's at tier 3. Oh, we won't keep the Halls of Ravaging here, but we can immediately build a very cheap Sorceress's Abode and a Shrine of Cain, I guess. And that's probably what we'll do. Alright, start with the Altar of Cain because it's two buildings, and then the other thing is one. I'd actually love to keep the Halls of Ravaging, it's just that it's a main settlement and there's better stuff to build. Okay, we'll get a new Black Carcass capacity available next turn as well, and you can now hunt down these guys. Ah, we have more armies coming in. Alright, so auto-resolve this. Hopefully it doesn't kill off the Dark Riders. Nope. And we'll actually take the opportunity to heal up a teensy bit. Alrighty, enemy killed in battle. What are you? Okay, you're not on a mount, so how did you get hurt? You're on foot. And you're slower than every other unit here. Why are you damaged? Alright, well, whatever. Auto-resolve? Alright, and a free Hunter's Talon. Alright, well, the Amber Spear isn't too bad. Let's murder captives in the hopes of getting a slaver. Perfect. Alrighty. And you want to hold on to the Hunter's Talon for now? Why not? And you can go into Dread Expansion, I guess. A little bit wary of these guys moving towards you, but at the same time, we'll want to move you towards Grouse. Well, also Cammering, but generally speaking. Oh. Hopefully these guys don't go for Grouse. Yeah, you're welcome to Saint Jacques, but Grouse should be ours. Oh, also before I forget, you should have the Crows of Cain. Like so. And you're missing the other two Harpies, which will be recruited via you. Yes, yes, you've got the Harpy cages. Oh, you probably want to... Oh, you might be close enough to allow him to recruit them. Come on. Fantastic. Alright, you guys go here, and then you can take the time to recruit 2 Harpies. Beautiful. No Bolt Fiends in here, but we'll put them in another Dark Shards focused army. You guys can sit together.
Lord of the Black Court.
And you as well. Again, we don't really know what we're doing with these guys, but they're slowly but surely racking up XP, and then we'll know what to do with their armies after they're good. And of course, in the meantime, they're also building themselves up, so once their armies are ready, they'll be cheaper. Yeah, alright. Anyway, I think this is probably going to be a good place to call... Ooh, hello. You can upgrade to the next tier Black Carc. Let's do that. Most definitely. And I guess nonetheless you will want to construct your sacrificial pits and stuff. I was going to say get the Sorceress's Abode, but you do have a Sorceress already, so it's not super critical. Oh, actually, you know what? Save the points. We'll get the Dreadmans so we can get the Cold One Knights, or our Cold One Chariots rather, and replace the Dark Riders in here.
Curse these crimes.
And maybe a couple of Cold One Knights for anti-large purposes, because again, something needs to protect those chariots. I'd love to put a monster in, but we don't have them available as yet, or at least not more than what we do. Anyway, this seems like a nice sort of army. A couple of artillery pieces, some Harpies, some Medusa, Dark Riders, Free Company Militia, and a couple of Dark Shards. I think it'll work well, though we will see. Also, you have ranked up at one point. I'll deal with it later. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to call the episode here. Next time we wipe out the remnants of these guys, we also go for Mr. Tehanoan. Hopefully that will give us a nice battle with him there. Yes, it's a shame we couldn't ally with these lizards, but it was impossible as soon as these guys befriended the Bretonians, because we are going to be absolute menaces to Bretonia. Between the episodes, I will hopefully download the mod that will power up these guys, so that the New Altar Retinue and the Wardens of the West don't have lower stats than they should, so that when we fight them here, it will be definitely a fight for survival, which is just the way we likes it. Anyway, more Lokhir to come, so stay tuned. If you could leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.